found a bit of an issue.
You know, I didn't want to immediately freak out because that looked pretty bad. Typically you don't want, you know, the chassis of the car to be messed up like that. It is pretty bad. When it mounts to the chassis, it looks like it's ripped out. So that's a problem.
A new place, a new home.
Could be going better.
Let me feel alive. Nothing to hold me back. Take my time, just enjoy the ride. A new man passing by. Life is good, best I've ever felt.
So we've just gotten to our campsite from the GridLife event. It's a little later than we'd hoped. It's 8:30, but we're still within normal hours. It's not quiet time yet. So we're gonna try to get this car unloaded and get set up and have some dinner. One reason why it's so important to get here before quiet hours is because we've gotta start it up to back it out.
The stairs don't close, so I'm using a pair of channel locks to dig out the ground so we don't have to move the RV. This is a thing that happens.
For the record, it's never really happened before.
Well, not the channel lock thing.
It was either that or hook up the RV. This just seemed like the faster option. So while he's doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get the inside opened up. It's kind of a game. Make sure everything's in the right place. You hope you packed it up right. We've had some unfortunate things happen. 50-pound bag of flour getting ripped open and all over the floor.
So now while Elena gets the inside ready, I get the kids' room ready / garage. Yeah, so this is what it looks like now. Not too bad, just bumper, some of the old like empty fuel cans, and that stuff just stays up there because it's way out of the way. You can hardly even really see it. Oh, look at this. That's some oil leak somewhere. It's had a little bit of an oil leak, but that's a lot more than it was before. Although I did start the car up in here, which I don't normally do, but that's right back. Anyway, so room is getting slowly cleared out. Move that over there. Got the kitchen over there. Everything is swept, mopped. That's not normally there. We just left GridLife today, so this is all this was a track day. Drove 4 hours, and now we're doing this to get it set up. But this is our routine, and now what we're gonna do is, whoops, wrong thing. We just drop down the kids' bed lift thing. I don't really know what you call it. Boom. Now we get their stuff down and finish setting up the room.
So this is how the RV is packed up when we travel, like when we're not planning on sleeping in the RV. When we plan on sleeping in the RV for like one night without unloading the car, it's packed up completely different. But on regular travel days, this is us. This blanket's not normally down here, but we had a friend sleeping on the couch at this last event. So while Andy gets the rest of the RV set up, I'm gonna get the kids fed so they can go to bed because now it is 9 o'clock. Evie, can you go put your pajamas on?
No.
Why?
So I want to go to bed.
You don't want to go to bed? What do you want to do?
I want to play down.
You want to go to the playground?
Yeah.
Okay, go put your jammies on. Dinner will be ready in about 15 minutes.
No, 17.
And that's it. Room set up. Kids are getting ready for bed. And that's pretty much the process. On to the next day. I made it. I'm gonna show you around here real quick. So this is just my little, I don't know, space I have back in Georgia, which is where I'm originally from. It's not much, but you know what? It's a whole lot better than having to work on stuff in the dirt and RV park where they just like give you dirty look. I kind of just use this for storage because I mean we have like some of our crap from our old houses in there. But I mean, this is just the stuff I bring with me. This is my table that I usually have with me in the RV. These are my tools I normally have with me. My jack, all that kind of stuff, jack stands. I just have a little bit more space. I have my thinking chair here. I don't normally have my thinking chair, but that's my thinking chair. As you can see, is pointed
at the car because that's normally where I do my thinking. I'm trying to figure something out. So I'm gonna try and get a few things done while we're here. We're gonna be like back and forth for a few weeks. So it gives me a bit of an opportunity to work on concrete and not dirt. So I got several things from ECS Tuning that I'm really excited about. I'm not doing this today, but this is my plan. I got this guy. It's a Chase-based brake booster delete. Also, you can get it on the ECS website. That's where I got it from. Honestly, my main reason for wanting to do this is to clean up the engine bay a little bit, but primarily it's for this guy, which is a brake bias adjuster. Super handy when you do a lot of left foot braking. I like to think I don't do a ton of left foot braking, but the car has gotten somewhat quick enough where if I'm behind a slower car and I really have to obviously keep the tires good, the wheel speed up to keep drifting, but I need to slow the car down a lot, I'm left foot braking a good bit. I don't know if you can see, I just have the stock booster and everything in here, so it actually starts to bog the car down. It doesn't like that. So I would really like to be able to adjust my brake bias and change it to mostly front braking. Everybody on YouTube who's put one of those in had the engine out of the car, and I'm not taking the engine out, so it's not difficult, it doesn't look like. I've never done it before. I'm not a mechanic, but I'm gonna give it a shot. One of the brake lines I've replaced goes like along the firewall behind the engine. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, but it should be doable. But that's not what we're doing today. First of all, I'm gonna power wash underneath the car because it's absolutely disgusting. I'm gonna put this bad boy in. So this is an X brace. The internet says it should add a ton of rigidity to the car. We got these guys. I don't even know where these go, but we'll figure it out. I didn't mean to do that. Let's clean this thing off and try and get this X brace on today so I can feel like I've done something. I have the car jacked up on one side. So I don't know if you can see it. There's just all kinds of grime up underneath here from my power steering leak. I've had a little bit of an oil leak. It seems to be getting worse. So you can see all that ish. It's gross. My other hope is that once I get all this cleaned up, it might be a little bit easier to tell where that oil leak's coming from. Found a bit of an issue. I noticed that this wheel looked like a little bit more towed out and had a bit more caster. It was pushed forward a bit more than the other side. And I noticed that because it just started like rubbing up on my fender. Here, you can see it like broke my fender, so that's kind of a bummer. So I jacked the car up and I don't know if you can see that, but my lollipop where it mounts to the chassis looks like it's ripped out. So that's a problem. Excuse me while I Google this. You know, I didn't want to immediately freak out because that looked pretty bad. Typically you don't want, you know, the chassis of the car to be messed up like that. It is pretty bad. I did some calling around. I think I have somebody who might be able to fix it, but let me see if I can give you a closer look. So this is the lower control arm. It's like a little lollipop pushing because it looks like a lollipop, and that's where it mounts to the chassis. One of these guys was starting to back its way out. I'm assuming that's how this happened, is it had just somehow worked itself loose while I was on the track at CMP, and I don't know, I mean, I didn't hit anything. If I did, it was very light. So this is a structural part of the car. This shouldn't be loose in here, and just welding it back into place is not necessarily that easy because it was welded inside the frame. I do have a buddy, David Green of Synchro Design Works, who is also in Georgia. Thankfully I'm in Georgia and I know a bit more people than I normally would on the road, and he's pretty sure he can fix it, so I might just try and get it to him and see if he can get that sorted out. So it looks like I won't be drifting tomorrow. And then the next event is Clean Culture, which is a competition I was really wanting to do, and that is in 2 weeks. So this should be fixable by then. On the upside, look how much cleaner underneath the car is. See, look at that, so shiny. So glass half full here. Turn off camera. It's been a couple days. I dropped the car off the Heat Lightning guys down in Gainesville, Georgia. Dude, it was pretty bad. Not only the spot where the lower control arm mounts to the chassis had that broken off on the driver's side, like you just saw, but I'm sorry, on the passenger side, but on the driver's side, apparently it was starting to rip out too. So they had to like basically do away with all that. So we'll see what they came up with. Didn't really have much to do the last couple of days. We were just chilling. This is just a typical campground that we would chill at. So we can like barely fit the truck. Got a little bit of space to play around, but not a big deal because the playgrounds are like way over there for the kids. This is my wife's car. We usually leave it in Georgia, but since mine is in Georgia and it's not very far, she has hers. So I'll be driving that down, so I'm not taking the dually and using a bunch of diesel, especially since all my tools are down there. But you know, this is like an okay campground. I'll give you like another walk around later on just so you can kind of see it, just to get like an idea of basically how we live, because this one's fine. There's better ones, there's worse ones, but yeah, you know, there's a place for the kids to play. It's close to a lake. We can go like get in a lake if we wanted to. Both myself and my wife are from warm climates and we kind of hate cold water, so we probably wouldn't get in, but the kids probably would because they don't care. But anyway, I gotta go. I got a bit of a drive, and let's see how that car turned out.